its eerie, splintered shade, finding you here each night, sleepless, your reflection trembling in the cold flames of this bonfire. Your face echoes in twilight, a subdued whisper. Your plight is dear to me, a perfect mirror of the abyss nesting within my soul. Tonight, I'll cradle you in tales of the land of blood and the great slumber, hoping to soothe the pain consuming you. Let the beginning unravel. I was rotting in the stale lands, west of the farthest border. The acrid scent of roses hung heavy in the air, punching like a fist in the lungs. Before me, Lisa, the champion. The bioluminescent meadow gleamed with crimson glows. It reminded me of Metsuri's slums along Meopi's southern coast, its fluorescent signs undulating like luminous serpents, vivid metastases of the city. Kill me, it kept whispering, voice hoarse, body ravaged. Back against a rock, the meadow's light reflected on the few intact parts of its armor, adding a surreal aura to its already spectral appearance. It had been with us for days, the lone survivor of the 14th Civ platoon. Something had shattered its shins, taking the rest of its legs. Found wrapped around rusted sheet metal. Lissa thought it a revenant. Instead, a carcass, delirious and drooling, laid low by thirst and fever. During those March days, it spoke of lost comrades, of a mother awaiting at home, of enlisting at 15, eager to make a fortune to support family, move east, away from that blighted, putrescent land. But a tale oft heard. Sometimes Lissa studied the scout's face, withered by dehydration and blood loss, lips cracked and dry as arid soil, devoid of color and life, eyes barely open, expressionless, lost, lit only by the faint glow of that purplish terrain. It seemed a skeleton awaiting burial. With each breath, now focused on preserving his gaze upon her. The call of death mingling with the lingering scent of flowers. "I'm sorry," Lissa pronounced. Her voice was flat, emotionless from within her armor's helm. Slowly, she rose to approach the body. Her steps stirred the flowers around her, glass thin. Petals burst in ruby clouds. Fragments of all sizes lifted weightlessly, surrounding, embracing her. Larger pieces drifted down slowly, flaming comets. That place, suspended in time, devoured every source of life. From the scout's gray eyes, tears began to flow. He wept silently as he turned toward the starless night. In the distance, a trail traced in the field by his crawling form. That black river snaked across the red expanse before them, fading into the blurred horizon where sky and earth merged in a chromatic scale. Lissa was deliberate and gentle. She reached behind her back, seeking the sword's hilt. Fingers caressed the weapon's grip gently, metal vibrating within the sheath, a soft chime of a dying moment. enveloped in fibers and tatters covering the hilt. She lifted it with what strength remained. The blade appeared folded upon itself, mechanically compelled to bear upon the hilt. Lyssa's arm fell under the imperative force of gravity, unfolding the unusually long weapon in a spark-filled flash. It emitted a shrill sound just before touching the ground and slicing through the red carpet beneath their feet. The scout, still prone, now beheld the end in its final dance. "You believe," he began, moistening dry lips with the last of his saliva, voice trembling in the silence. "You believe there's something after?" Lyssa remained silent, her gaze fixed on the horizon, rushing toward them like a static wave. The breeze carried with it the taste of blood. "After death, I mean," the soldier specified. "Do you believe the God loves us? It was a time of light, when brothers did not devour each other, a time for stories and superstition." "No," she finally replied, clasping both hands on the weapon's handle. Her grip was firm. That worn blade was a stark boundary between her and those like him. The ties of its hilt danced to the wind's rhythm, brushing against wrists shielded by armor. The worn blade was a barrier separating her from a common destiny. It was her sister, companion to nights and hopeless days. She held it close, as if she could grasp her very existence. "I believe so. I will see him," whispered the boy, attempting a smile to conceal palpable fear seeping into each word. His face betrayed an uncontrollable tremor, eyes wide in pure terror. "The truth. I'll finally know the truth," he continued, his breathing heavy with mounting anguish. He broke into subdued tears. "I don't want to die." The pressure of time intensified, the unstoppable ticking of a clock marking the countdown. Lyssa raised the scythe over her right shoulder, steel humming behind her back, a funeral song blending with the blessed scent of flowers below. Moving with cold determination, she positioned perpendicular to the soldier's body. The youth closed his eyes, clenched his teeth, and lifted his chin in a final act of courage. Flowers swayed in the wind, illuminating death in its macabre work. "Bon voyage," she murmured gently, letting the weapon tear through the dark canvas, a vermilion flash. The matte blade steadfastly repelling the hues of that place. It cleaved through the scout's neck, freeing him from his fleshy prison, and settled in the field behind him, a tribute to life fading, renewing the red hue of the flowers, now adorned with a liquid finish. The wind, fierce and resolute, began to bend the red petals, crumbling them, enveloping the entire field in a soft, rosy cloud. We stood watching the body slowly swallowed by the mist, leaving only memory. Eventually, we resumed dragging forward, urging our legs to obey a little longer, towards salvation, towards the end. Meanwhile, I had the opportunity to closely examine her slender form. She was riddled everywhere. Rotting flesh protruded from wounds, not hers. The armor, black and scorched, fused tightly with her body, a single entity. Beneath it, a layer of organic fabric, her skin blended with foreign pulp. The biomass required blood and nutrients to regenerate wounds over time. It wasn't a perfect process. Some damages were irreparable. Yet her equipment was surprisingly efficient and had withstood many battles. Her fame was widespread, as was the biological implant consuming her. I listened to the silence of the plain, the metallic sound of our steps echoing in the valley. Embraced by solitude once more, she gazed up at the horizon. Ashes quickly stained her helmet. With eyes closed, we continued to drag forward, step by step. I had lost count by now, the thought escaping me with a hint of irony. I opened my eyes to glance back one last time. The rock was now just a shadow in the mist. The body vanished into time. We would find our way home once again. Splintered Shade, I hope my words can soothe the loneliness of your spirit. In no man's land, we walk hand in hand until the end of our days. May the last light that still illuminates us bless your shield and guide your blade. Surrender to oblivion. Let sleep make you its servant, granting you solace. Amidst the tumult of memories crowding your mind, I hope you can discern yours once more. Until we meet again.